little friendos. I just got back from taking an $18 Uber, not including tip, back from the U-Haul place that was 6 miles away from here in Wisconsin. Dang, Ubers are real expensive these days. This is my clown car, and I know it's kind of dark, so maybe you can't quite see, but like my car is almost every square inch of my car is full. And thank goodness I already took stuff out of my truck and put it in my storage unit, because I never would have been able to do it in one trip. I almost wasn't going to, and then I remembered that I used to work for Schlepp and I am an expert Tetriser. And I was like, being like, no, maybe I just come back tomorrow. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, who are you? Come on now. And I was like, no. And I seriously, everything in here. And I'm sure I'm going to get terrible gas mileage. Okay, my silly ass, you know how I'm like, oh, I keep so much water in my truck. Yeah, I have 9 of these motherfuckers in my car right now. You think that's going to be good for my fuel mileage? Probably not. Did I really need 9? Did I not think about maybe like using up the water I had before moving out of my truck? No, I didn't think about that at all. So I drove 450 miles today. Not a big deal for those of us who truck. I'm gonna drive another, 70 miles, and I'm not gonna be able to empty my car out because I'm just staying temporarily with friends. And yeah, it is a clown car, for real, for real. This is what I'm dealing with today. This is my storage unit. This is stuff that, some of it is stuff that came out of my truck. Some of it is stuff that was already in storage, things that came out of my truck. One of the things that I haven't shown a whole lot, but that is such a huge aspect of my personal trucking experience, is having to have your life divided into different spaces, and the stress of like moving out of a truck, moving things into a U-Haul, moving things into your car, moving things into storage, moving some of your stuff into a hotel, moving stuff out of the hotel back into your car, into a truck, then coming back to the storage unit to get more stuff that wouldn't fit in your car. It's like this constant feeling of transience, and I've moved so many times in my life, and I was a professional mover, so technically I'm good at Tetrising. This actually was very nice and neat and organized. It still kind of is, with like everything labeled. Pro tip, buy bins that are modular in a way that you can like stack them relatively easily, so you can see the contents of different ones against a wall, and so you have a path to walk through ideally. And then keep some tape and markers like Sharpies close to the entrance of your storage unit, so you can just, even if you just add one item, that's why I have a bunch of stickers on there, because it makes it easier than having to dig through bins of stuff. And ideally, don't store things that you're never going to use again. I definitely have some things in here that I'm not going to use again, and every time I move into like a new apartment or something, I will go through and get rid of stuff that I'm definitely not going to use. But I have this pretty well pared down to mostly necessary items. So that's Dirk's fridge. Sorry, Dirk. I can get that back to you at some point. Well, actually, I might be using it now again, because last time I was at the company I'm going back to, they did not have refrigerators in the trucks, which I think is real shitty. That to me should be a bare minimum for any over-the-road driver. Company should provide a fridge. But yeah, this is what I'm dealing with, and it's very stressful. It's exhausting. It makes it hard to feel settled. It makes it hard to relax. You feel kind of on edge. And I think too, if you're like me and you have a lot of history of like traumatic events associated with moving, I think it can kind of stir some of that up without you fully even realizing it. So it's hot in here. It's not air conditioned. It's muggy. That's why I'm sweating and I'm glowy. So I'm gonna try to, I'm actually digging through a couple of those bins over there that have, there's underneath this stacks of stuff. I have a couple of items of clothing that I need to wear to Lollapalooza, and my clear backpack is in there somewhere that I have to carry at Lollapalooza. So yeah, I was almost done. I was about to leave. I had just dropped off some of the stuff that was in my truck, and some of it is staying in my car because otherwise it's gonna be too hard to move in when I get assigned a truck. So I thought, no, leave like most of the stuff that fills up one carload so that you have space in the car after you move things out. It's like all of these things, you have to be thinking a couple of steps ahead, because you're gonna need to deal with it. And if you're a person who has a home, not living in and out of a storage unit, all of this is much easier. Or if you have help, but I do these things by myself, by my damn self. So that's what I'm doing. That's what we're doing. That's my day today. Let's get this done. So I'm about to go in and get my drug test taken care of. And for those who don't know, every time you start a new trucking job, even if you just had a drug test not that long ago, you have to get another one. I have not had one since I started at the last job, but that's neither here nor there. The funny thing is, I just paid a couple of weeks ago to get a haircut, which is atypical of me. Normally what I do is I usually shave my head around this time of year once a year and then just let it grow until the next year, and I just shave the sides. That's just the way I've been doing it for a while now, and usually, unless I want kind of a specific style, I just don't pay to get it done. But this time I was like, I don't feel like shaving my head yet. I didn't end up really loving the haircut. My fault. I didn't really go to the right kind of person. I need to find a good barber. And I actually love the guy who used to cut my hair, and it was just really hard to schedule. Anyway, that's a long story you don't need to hear. Funny thing is, I'm about to have to get a hair test. And with the amount of hair I don't have, there's a very high likelihood that I'm going to end up needing to shave my head today, because there's going to be just a bald spot on my head. So I'm like, why did I pay for a haircut? So next time you see me, I'll probably be just fully, which is fine. Feels good. Don't really mind it. Everybody should do it at least once. Highly recommend. Good morning, my friends. I'm heading into Lollapalooza and got all my stuff, my bartender gear. Today is already starting off. It's the Murphy's Law of it all. I think I brought it with me from Trucker World. I've been up since about 4, but I really didn't sleep. I had pretty bad insomnia because I was sleeping in a room with no air conditioning, and I was just hot all night. It wasn't even that hot, but when I got up and looked, it was like 80 degrees, which is pretty fucking hot. So I can't get this phone right. So I got up, got ready, feel super like zoned out, tired, can't wake up. And then I get to where I had reserved a parking spot, and I got really lucky that I found a couple of spots that were within like a mile. So it's actually closer than where I would have parked in the past, which is nice. It's always really hard to leave at the end of the night. It's just throngs of people you got to deal with. But when I got there and I was on my way, I got a group text sent out by our manager. It was like, I hope you guys saw the email last night. New start time is 8:45 or 9:45, all 4 days. And originally it was 8 a.m. Thursday and 9 a.m. the rest of the weekend, which last year I think it was 9 a.m. on Thursday and then 10 a.m. every other day. Because once you set up the first day, you don't really have to do a whole lot of setup after that on the ensuing days. So I've been sitting in my car. Makeup turned out good. I had a couple hours to do it. Had time to kill. It wasn't great, but you know, Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. I brought it from Trucker World. Here we are. All right, so I went for a little walk. Had to get myself some dark matter coffee. This is water, it's ice water, and I'm going to dump it over my head in a minute here, and I'm not joking, because it's real hot and it will feel really good. My hat's crooked, but I just happened to come by where there's a semi parked here, and Stage Call, Specialized Transportation is the trucking company, so there's someone in there who's probably taking a nap, so I'm not going to bother them, but I wish I could talk to them and be like, hey, how do you like what you're doing? It's got to be kind of wild, but I usually don't. I usually just stay behind the bar. I just decided to take a little walk, and it's fun. It's fun people watching, but the thing that blows my mind is everybody looks, I mean, every year they look younger to me. It's a trip, but it's fun. It's fun. Everybody's having a good time. People are just, you know, people are sweating, and they're scantily clad, and they're having snacks and drinks and probably some drugs, but that's fine because that's what music festivals are all about, right? For some people, not for everybody. Anyway, I'll show you guys. I'll get some video while I'm walking, but I just wanted to show you that. I was trying to find, there's like a whole area where they just have desserts, and I was like, man, I want some ice cream, but I guess I kind of got my hands full, huh? So ice cream later, maybe. Lollapalooza. We are just getting set up today, and I'm kind of a zombie. Oh, there's some kids down here already. Is it after 11 already? I guess it must be, because I was in the bathroom, the air-conditioned bathroom, doing my makeup, and it was really nice since our bars are pretty much already set up from yesterday. I have a little clip you can hear of the sound check for Kendrick Lamar. Didn't hear him out there, but heard his tracks playing, and that's pretty much, I had said to myself, I'm not going to work Lollapalooza this year, and then I heard the Kendrick Lamar was playing, and I was like, I'm working Lollapalooza this year. So that's the show I'm most excited about. It's going to be, as the kids are saying, it's going to be lit. I think that's probably out with the kids now. That's probably like an older kid phrase, old, like young adult, whatever. Yesterday, Billie Eilish's crowd went all the way back to there. This whole area was packed. That's the main stage, the T-Mobile stage. She was awesome. She put on such a great show, and I was forgetting how young she was, and then we were like looking her up on Wikipedia, and like, she's 21. It was mind-boggling, the talent. So it was pretty cool. Very tired. I think sleep is something I'm just gonna have to wait for death to achieve. So I'm just doing my best to keep it positive anyway, and I'm surrounded by some really cool people here, and that's making it a lot easier to get through it. So yeah, good times.
now in the presence of a king.
Alright, I just want to show you, we got out late. I'm stuck with these throngs of drunk high kids, mostly kids, very young audience. Have I emphasized yet how young they are? I'm grateful I got out to the street. So, you know, streets are closed, so you can walk in the middle of the street, and that's your best bet when it's this chaotic. And I was literally just stuck in a fucking throng. And like, it's nerve-wracking. I'm not used to that. That's why I like being behind the bar. That's why I stay behind the bar. You know, imagine you've been on your feet for, well, I should say I've got many opportunities to sit down today because there were a lot of slow periods. But, you know, you are working for 12 hours, or I guess it's more than 12. We had to start at 9. We had to get there at 9, and it's 10:15 by the time we got out. So 13-hour day. And then the last band ran over. So that's probably why we got stuck. And then as you're trying to leave, you get caught in these throngs of people. And then you got to be back. You got to get home. You're parked, and I'm parked a mile and a half away. I've got to drive back, try to find parking, which is usually not easy. And then I got about 5 hours to sleep by the time I get myself to bed. I got to get up and come back and do it again tomorrow for the 4th day in a row. It's hard, man. It's not an easy thing, but I'm working with a really good team, and that's huge. Having, like, you know, friendly, sweet, team player type of people to work with a good work ethic and a good attitude, and we make each other laugh and stuff. So that's the positive. So just got to get back to my car, but it was a fun day, but it was exhausting. Oh, and because of the way it rained, a couple of the areas that I normally would have been able to take a break and like actually sit back and like even take a little bit of a cat nap, those weren't an option because those seats were like soaked. So I was trying to take a nap sitting on a couple of unopened cases of like Red Bull and like leaning forward on my forearms, like folded over on 2 more cases. That was my nap situation. That's how I use my break time today. Good times.